time when you dial all nines. 844-999-9999. Who was a better story at the PGA this weekend? Was it Michael Block or Brooks Koepka?
It's hard not to think Michael Block, even though he didn't win. Brooks Koepka is hoisting the trophy at the end with a humongous smile on his face. But I feel like this was Block's weekend, man. Win or lose. I feel like that guy was playing with house money on Sunday, and it's so easy for you to be happy to be there. So easy for you to be happy to make the cut. So easy to be playing in the top 20 in the final round. And for this dude to completely perform every single step of the way, a dream weekend for Michael Block compared to Koepka.
Yeah. He says it's the greatest moment of his life. I agree. But I think we're overplaying it a little bit. I think this guy, to say he's the player of the people, is a little bit crazy. You know, yeah, he's a PGA pro. He makes a good living what he's doing out there. If this guy wanted to grind it out, he could get his Q card and he could qualify and go out and tour, because there's a lot of other guys that are out there struggling and not making ends meet. So he's kind of got a cushy job at his country club out in California.
Well, that's why
I love the story, but to me, Brooks Koepka is the better story, because Liv and the fact they wouldn't even listen. I like DeChambeau. My brother took DeChambeau. We were kind of having a side bet between Hovland and DeChambeau and stuff, and they didn't even show any highlights of DeChambeau at the end after he was done playing. And I think that's unfortunate. That's where we are with the PGA versus Liv. I just want these guys to be recognized as good golfers.
I don't know if that had anything against DeChambeau or Liv.
It had everything to do with it. They did not show any highlights of Liv players. And if Koepka wasn't in the final on the final day, they wouldn't have showed Koepka either.
I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. If that's
I watched hours and hours of this weekend, and they did not show Liv golfers. They barely showed Mickelson. They showed Jon Rahm all day, every day. They had Jon Rahm doing color for an hour after his round was over, and he was horrible this weekend. So, you know, the bias that they have going on against Liv, if he had lost, you'd be hearing PGA talking all PGA today.
I saw a bunch of Mickelson. That dude finished top 58. I was honestly wondering why we're showing Mickelson. For Jon Rahm,
because he's the oldest player standing out in the rain, not using an umbrella like 25-year-olds. That's probably why they're showing Mickelson.
Well, they were showing Mickelson, though. But, you know, they weren't. They were showing him. I don't know, man. I think that DeChambeau got a lot of airtime, more than he has in a long time. And Brooks Koepka that was the first time I've seen Brooks Koepka since the Masters. And before that, I can't even tell you when I've seen Brooks Koepka. So as much as, like, if you believe the PGA is trying to stifle their, you know, popularity, I think they're doing a good job of it not being on the PGA Tour. Just this weekend.
See, I disagree. I still love Koepka. I still love DeChambeau. I don't care Dustin Johnson. I want Dustin Johnson to win this tournament. I don't care that they're on the Live Tour. The PGA does. That's your problem. If the PGA had paid these players and the below-level players the money years ago, this never would have happened. We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Maybe. But I've barely seen Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, or Bryson DeChambeau because they're on Live. And it's not even in my realm of thinking of when these tournaments are. And to see them this week, I think there's more people that are golf fans that got to see them this week compared to any other swing in the Live Tour. And to that helps their popularity one way or another, whether they can capitalize on it or not. But I thought there was plenty of Brooks, plenty of Bryson. Not enough Cam Davis. I need more Cam Davis. That dude's cool looking. But I don't know. I think for Brooks, too, like, it was special for him to be out there and playing in this kind of format. That's the other thing about these Live guys. Like, they don't play the cutthroat golf with cuts, you know, on a Friday, or they don't play a single man versus man versus man. And they finally got the opportunity, or at least the second time they've gotten the opportunity.
So you don't agree that the PGA was cheap and they didn't pay these guys what they were worth?
Cheap?
Yeah, cheap, because they all of a sudden now every main PGA event has $5 million more, $10 million more,
Yeah, possibly.
paying them $15 million to win the overall every year.
Whatever, but I like it too that when you're on the PGA, you have to earn that money. It's not just granted to you because of who you are and how popular you are coming into the league. That everyone earns all their dollars in the PGA, and
I couldn't disagree with you more. Every guy should be paid for showing up at tournaments if you're in the top 50, 150.
But then what
week.
about the guy that's 151? He's never going to have a
Then
chance.
that guy's in the minor leagues. That's a different
So how
story.
does
But
he
the
get
guy
into
that's
the major
150 shouldn't be making $2,000 for flying around the country and working on the PGA Tour.
I like the capitalism of it.
I disagree 100%. These are the best golfers in the world. Rich Beam will join us next. He won the PGA Championship back in 2000. He'll join us next from an airport.